What's going on today, Internet? Selfish here with Retrospect, and today we are going to go over the Battle of the Bands. The Miyoo Mini Plus, the OG best handheld in 2022/2023, going in up against the R33S, which is the clone of the Miyoo Mini, to see which of these two turns out to be better. Let's take a look. So we have taken a look at both these devices individually, obviously, on the channel. But there's a lot of questions when I posted the R33S, because this is a clone of the Miyoo Mini, to do a head-to-head video. So what I'm going to do is just a quick playthrough of a few games, and then I'll talk about it at the end, what I think the differences are, where I see each of them having advantages and disadvantages to each other. And there are definitely things on both sides of that, so we are going to just get on with it. But real quick before we do that, let's take a look at the specs real quick, one at a time. And in this corner, running ArcOS, an emulation station front end with an RK3326 at 1.5 GHz quad-core processor, 1 GB of DDR3L RAM, dual micro SD card slots, a 3.5-inch screen, 3200 mAh battery, Type-C charging, and an OTG port for Wi-Fi support, is the R33S clone of the Miyoo Mini Plus. And over in this corner, mostly unanimously voted Handheld of the Year, with its ARM Cortex-A7 dual-core processor at 1.2 GHz. Its 3.5-inch display at 640 by 480, 12 megabytes of RAM, 64 gigs of internal storage with an SD card slot for expansion, 3000 mAh battery, Type-C charging, and Wi-Fi built in, is the Miyoo Mini Plus. I thought I had a ding-ding noise, but I got applause, so whatever. I'm actually going to go into this non-biased because I think there are some obvious advantages, especially after going over the specs of the R33S over the Miyoo Mini Plus, so there is a good possibility that this will outperform it, which would make sense because most of the clones from this company are outperforming the devices that they're cloning, and obviously the chipset alone should outperform this, but we'll talk about that at the end. I have used both of them here now for a few weeks, kind of hand in hand. Typically I do carry a Miyoo Mini Plus with me everywhere I go, so I have been carrying the R33S and kind of alternating, going back and forth, trying to play the same types of games. And so that's what we're going to do here. We're going to do a game comparison. Up in the upper right-hand corner of each of these devices, it will have an FPS counter for anybody who thinks that's important for this. Obviously, we can't do a whole lot of tweaking other than inside of RetroArch in order to get anything to work a little bit better, because these are Linux-based devices. But we'll get it going. I'm going to run them side by side at the same time. So stop talking now, and get on with it. It's a bad look. I'm trying to run the exact same ROMs with the same cores, and the first ROM that I ran was different. So we are going to try to start all over again. Hopefully you're able to see some differences there. They're pretty similar in most ways, and what I try to do was play the same games with the same cores so that they could be as evenly as possible. I don't know if you noticed, but on the R33S, there's some kind of weird filtering on, and I can't figure out how to change it in RetroArch. What it's doing is it's making it bigger, so your screen is stretching a little bit, but not much, and then it's kind of got a shader thing over the top of it to make it almost brighter. I don't know how to explain it. But the colors are just off just a little bit. But it looks good. If you don't put it next to this one, it looks good. In fact, even next to the Miyoo Mini, it looks really good. I don't know how they did it, but you could see it there where it said Alien, where it's stretched all the way up past the border. But for the most part, I think it's a really good-looking screen. In fact, it's probably a better screen than Miyoo Mini on this one, because what is this, the 6th screen that they put on this? Who knows? I don't even know how many screens they went with on the Miyoo Mini Plus, but they went through a few different screens before they got to the one they're at today. They've definitely had screen sourcing issues with these. So all in all, I think it's a really good-looking device. It's obviously going to perform really well, and it can obviously outperform the Miyoo Mini Plus as far as going to higher game systems like your PSP, Dreamcast, what have not. It does have that ability to do that. And with ArcOS 2, it also has a little bit more expandability. With that more powerful processor in here, it's good for the pudding. And then the fact that you have the dual SD cards is really nice, so you're running your operating system separately from your games, which is kind of cool. It does have a hard time trying to merge the two together if you've got games on your other SD card. You almost have to switch back and forth. It's kind of weird like that. where the Miyoo Mini doesn't have that option. And so a part of the memory card is actually taken up by the operating system. And here I'm running Onion, which is obviously everybody's favorite Miyoo operating system. There are a couple other ones out there. This one just tends to just kind of be the creme de la creme of the handheld community. And it's everything that every other OS is aspiring to be right now. Now, this does have a bigger battery, which you would never know. The battery life on this one in comparison to Miyoo Mini, it sucks. And I can only assume it's because of that bigger processor that it's using a lot more power to drain on that processor than this is using to be using more power. The screen does get slightly brighter, but when you're not running 100% brightness, that doesn't really matter. Some other minor differences that are going to come down to it is how the buttons work. You don't use the back buttons real often, but when you do, these ones are really pretty loud for the R33S, but they are really tight, so I don't really have any complaints about them. They are just a little bit loud, where the Miyoo Minis don't make any noise, which is kind of nice. I do like, they did a really good job of really mimicking how this all went together. Surprised they didn't use the same color buttons there. This D-pad is really stiff. I think over time, though, because it is a rubber membrane, it will work its way in, and it'll be just fine. But right now, as it comes out of the box, it is pretty stiff. Also, the travel is slightly different on these buttons here. I don't know if you can tell, but probably not, no. But yeah, the travel is a little bit different. This one here takes a little less effort to get down, which isn't that much of a difference, so it's not that big of a deal. I don't like the reset button up here, and that's just because I'm used to a menu button. I think if I didn't ever have a menu button here, this would be fine. I don't see any issue, because that is something that the Miyoo Mini itself is lacking. It doesn't have a reset button, so it doesn't even have that option, so I can see that being okay. It is a little trickier to get into menus and stuff. You have to kind of learn some more shortcuts. You can't do as much with things like drastic. You can't make as many changes with the R33S as you can with the Miyoo Mini Plus, but it's very similar. It's a very similar experience. It works a little bit better. And this was something that was standalone outside of Onion for a while that you could add to Onion, and now it's included with Onion. So Drastic definitely has the support here with the Miyoo Mini Plus. And you can definitely play higher end systems on this. I just don't know why you would. And I'll show you. I'll give you a quick demonstration, in fact. So Dreamcast is going to be that system that really is the next one up. The problem with Dreamcast is Dreamcast uses joysticks for a lot of stuff. Where like when you stop at PS1 without joysticks, you're kind of doing okay. Even some PSP doesn't have joysticks. When you go to Dreamcast, everything has joysticks. And if you go in and change the D-pad to a joystick, it doesn't change back. In every menu you go into, it tries to act as a joystick, which it can't do. So you either use it as a D-pad or use it as a joystick, but you can't really use it as both. So we're going to run into it as an issue is a game like Sonic, which really needs the joystick to be involved here. And if we switched it to joystick, the D-pad, then we wouldn't be able to get through the menus in Sonic. Here we go. So we don't have any way to control Sonic. There's just no way to control him. We can make him jump, but after that, we got nothing. And I also learned that if I just let Sonic go straight, I'm actually better at getting down this hill than I am when I'm trying to snowboard down it. So here he'll bump into a wall, and then he'll kind of fall in an area where I can keep going. And I usually hit about every car on the way down. He only hits a couple. Like, he does a pretty good job here. And I think if I would have jumped, I would have missed the last one. So I don't think that the ability to go past PlayStation 1 is really that great. And when I think about it all in, it's very much like the RG35XX in the fact that it has a faster processor than the Miyoo Mini Plus as well. Also louder buttons. But at the end of the day, it's not really doing anything that the Miyoo Mini Plus isn't doing anyways. Because once you get beyond PlayStation, you want to have joysticks for the most part. And that's where like the 35XX Plus failed. There's no joysticks on here. So now it's able to play these high-end systems that require joysticks. So you're very limited on what games you can play. And that's where the H came and bailed it out. The 35XXH with the joysticks is really the answer. So Ambernick immediately, almost within 30 days or whatever of the 35XX Plus, came out with the 35XXH. And this has your joysticks. So I don't see any reason to need this faster processor. My assumption would be that they wouldn't have put this processor in here and give it the ability to play things like Dreamcast if they had an option. But I think that they have a lot of these processors sitting around looking at some of the clones that are out there between the R36, the R35, they're using the same chip in all these devices. So instead of coming up with different chips for every device, like your first-party manufacturers are doing, as a clone manufacturer, they're just using the same chip and mostly the same hardware and everything, which would make sense with the D-pad and stuff as well, just the way everything feels. At the end of the day, it comes down to the operating system. I like ArcOS. I really do, especially for devices like the 353V. It's not trying to be biased, just OinionOS trumps any of the other operating systems out there right now. And I think most people that have used multiple operating systems will tell you it's clean, it's easy, it works the way you want it to. I mean, you even have things like an option to get into your emulators individually through your advanced emulator screen on here, which none of the other ones have. If you go on your expert screen, you can get into these individual emulators and make changes as you want. You don't have that option with the other devices. You can put a faster processor in, but without the software, it's just not supporting it. Also, right now, These are about $90 on Amazon. They're way overpriced. I've got Miyoo Mini Pluses for $32. I think the most I've ever paid for one is $50, I think. Maybe not even that much. I know that they retail out for about $69 or anywhere between $80 to $100 if you get it preloaded with OinionOS. You don't have to do it yourself and a bunch of games. And I'll leave some links down in my thingamabob so you guys can kind of take a look at some different options as far as getting these. They are, even directly through Miyoo Mini, are only $70, so still about $20 cheaper than the clone here. Now, again, not as fast a processor, so you are paying for a little bit more, but this clone, if they can get on AliExpress at some point in time, I'm going to assume will be cheaper than the Miyoo Mini Plus. But as it stands right now, as I'm filming this, it can be upwards as much as twice the price depending on how you get your Miyoo Mini Plus. That seems a little expensive for a clone. But those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Leave me some comments down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. I'm sure there's going to be some people that are like, Clone Wars, we love the clones. And you know what? Honestly, these are helping build the business right now. They're forcing companies like Miyoo Mini and Ambernick and those guys to go back to the drawing board and try to make these things more affordable for us. Well, until this one got in trouble from Miyoo Mini and got expensive, and that didn't really happen. But I think in the future, this one will come down in price and give the Miyoo Mini a little bit more run for its money. Let me know your thoughts. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, and then share this video with your friends because, you know, I could use some more friends, and sharing is caring. So bring them all over. I like interacting with you guys, and I do appreciate all the comments and everything that you guys leave me. So have a good day. Bye-bye. Well, if that wasn't a long-winded outro, holy crap. I have to go cut this video because I have 3 hours worth of video that I'm going to try to make in under 20 minutes. Appreciate you coming. There is a subscribe button on the screen if you haven't hit it already. Also, 2 videos here that YouTube thinks that you're going to like, and obviously they're always right. So why don't you click on one of those? I appreciate your time. Have a good day. I'm out.